Good morning, Max. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Julien? You look okay, but your background implies some discomfort. How's the evening? How's France? How's Paris? How is Julien?
Well, discomfort is probably the right word because no big deal. A little bit annoying what has happened to me, but not something that's gonna get me angry. I can't even remember if I told you the first story. I had a story a few weeks ago, and if I did not, this is definitely something I'll share next week. A few weeks ago, I had ordered food for me and my friends, and they just delivered the wrong order, and the guy
Yes,
took off what I was on.
you ended
I
up
told that story.
getting your money back and very lack of satisfaction in any way, shape, or form.
So I did not actually quite get my money back. That's the follow-up
Uh-oh.
story. So here is the thing. I need to give you some context of how things work in France before we can get into it. In France, you're being taxed for absolutely everything you can dream of. So one way to prevent that, since you're getting taxed on your salary, quite obviously, one way to give perks and benefits to employees without having them taxed on it is a system that was invented many years ago that's called restaurant cards or restaurant tickets. Both systems exist. So basically, the company is going to say, okay, I'm going to pay 200 euros a month, and you're going to have 200 euros a month deducted from your salary, and this 400 euros will be transformed in restaurant vouchers or restaurant credit on your restaurant card. And then when you go to the restaurant and you pay with that card or with that ticket, basically you're only paying for half of the meal because the other half was actually paid by your employer tax-free. So it's like
That's a nice
extra
perk.
money. That's a nice perk. And that's very French, and that's definitely something great that you can feel good about. So now the story from the other day where I ordered something, they delivered the wrong order, and I get a full refund. The problem is it was over 50 euros. I had paid 50 euros with my restaurant card, which is a ceiling per day, and the rest 30 plus with my credit card. A few days after it actually happened, I checked my bank account and I see that they've refunded the 30 euros, but I don't see the 25 euros being refunded to my restaurant card. So I call the company. Why do I call them? Because there is no other way, basically. So I did what I had to do. I called their hotline. Good experience, fairly short IVR, very short waiting time, lovely person on the phone, very helpful. And she tells me, no, you're not seeing it because we are going to refund it to your credit card. We can't refund that money to your restaurant card for whatever reason, but keep an eye on your credit card statement. Might take another couple of days, but you're going to see it there. I wait for 4 or 5 days and check my credit card, and obviously the money's not back, so I call them up again. And I got a different person saying, why would we even refund anything on your credit card account? We don't even know your credit card account. Obviously, it's coming to your restaurant card account. I see it's there already, but if you don't see it, maybe just wait for another 24 hours. In the system, it is already on your account, so probably just another 24 hours before it shows up. So I wait not 24, but 48 plus the weekend, and I call on the following Monday and say, look, I'm sorry, but I don't see that money. So she asks me, okay, can you walk me through it? So I say, yeah, I log into the app. And in the app, I see how much money I've left on my account, which is currently zero, right? Something that you reload monthly, that your employer reloads monthly. So currently zero on my account. And when I go to the transaction tab, I see the only green plus amount is my employer putting whatever amount on last month, and all the rest is negative. And I see that you've deducted this 25 euros on that specific day, but I don't see a plus. I just see minuses. And she checks everything, and then after 5 minutes, she says, oh, I think I got it. For whatever reason, that's not showing up in your transactions, but it's actually part of your total. You got an extra 25 that you've already spent. And I say, yeah, it's kind of hard to trust you on this because there is no trace of any of that in the app. It does not exist. So she said, I'm gonna send you immediately a full breakdown of all your transactions. This one is on it, and you can track. You can see that you had indeed a plus 25, and you've already used up that money. And then she sent me, and I make my calculation, and it's true. She was right. I did get a refund, but it's just not showing up in the app. And so here is what I wanted to talk about today. It's first, well, they don't have WhatsApp or email or anything else than phone. They manage it properly, but still not my favorite channel. And second, they are just not showing all the transaction, which seems, I mean, any app that deals with money, all transaction, negative or positive, credit or debit, should be showing up in the statement. And at the end of the day, not such a bad story because I did have my money back, but I just had to call 3 times for a non-problem. So that's where I'm at.
That's painful and laughable. I guess my first thought is, what a lose-lose, right? I mean, they're how much did they spend supporting you through your 3, 4 calls, getting different people, getting different answers, looking it up, sending, she had to compile a bunch of stuff and send it to you.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of hard. How does that happen? It's just so bizarre that's what you're right. It's an account. Here's your accounting from the account. Yet, this data just doesn't happen to make it, but the balance is right. So what the heck? I mean, how many calls do they get if they do that on any kind of consistent basis? I can't even think of what sort of situation would cause that to happen. I mean, maybe it's bizarre and obscure, and okay, if it's 1 in a 10,000,
I
irritating,
guess
but okay.
I guess going to restaurant the traditional way, it probably almost never happens that you get a refund. Might be that they give the wrong, they take the wrong bill for you pay for the wrong table and they want to refund it and charge you again. Might happen once in a blue moon, but probably not that standard. But nowadays, everyone is getting food delivered and errors happen all the time. So I'm guessing that's something that should not be that uncommon and is not a crazy request to have a full statement of your balance, right?
No, I mean, this is just, I guess the thing that has me speechless here is how fundamental of an error this is. This, we talk about, oh, from the company to the delivery service, and the delivery service happened to have somebody who was lazy, so there was a bad experience, and there's a chain of events that breaks down. This is just like core to what this thing needs to be. It's not doing it.
And and there is something else that we did not even talk about, which is at least as bad from my perspective. Not the fact that they don't have the channels I want. This I can forgive. They do phone very well. Not my preference, but I can live with this. But I get a very different answer from Agent 1 than what I get from Agent 2 and 3. And
Yeah,
that is
you're right.
problematic.
And sounds like Agent One was living in a fantasy world with no, I mean, we're going to send it to your credit card. And then the other guy's like, how would we even do that? So I really, why would the agent even say something like that? Where would they get the idea that they'd be able to do that?
So how do you fix that?
Uh, I mean, I, fire a bunch of people who built the app or whatever, who did the accounting part. You just got to go fix this very basic piece of software. And then, the agent part, either that's a bad agent or bad training or new agent or, a couple of different things, but getting them trained up so that they can be consistent with the others and not. We talk about ChatGPT hallucinating. Here we've got a human hallucinating.
That
Uh,
happens too, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they just have to go to step one. I mean, this is so basic. I don't know what else to even say about it.
Could it just be silos? I mean, you mentioned we probably need to fire a bunch of people in the development team, but do they even know about this? Did they get feedback from anyone within the contact center? Did they get a full scope of what was needed in the first place?
They even know the bug exists.
Exactly.
Well, that's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Because if you work in silos and that information, and that's even worse when you work with BPOs, right? So BPOs being third-party companies managing manpower to handle the contact center on your behalf, basically outsourcing your contact center agent to a third party. It's even more difficult. It's even a bigger silo there to bring that knowledge, that feedback back to the core team to make sure you make the necessary changes. But it feels like that's probably what's missing. Because if it happens every now and then, I mean, that's an obvious bug to fix. And I can't believe I'm the first person to bring it up. So
yeah,
there's probably silos.
That makes sense. Or just no feedback loop. And that is, that's something at Forrester we talk about all the time is, and especially, one of the contexts for it is you do customer surveys, you get the feedback, you write a wonderful report saying these are the things people are complaining about, but there's nothing that then goes to the developers to say, hey, people are complaining about this part of the product. Do you think we could do something about it? And, closing the loop, and heaven forbid actually telling the customer, hey, we did something about this.
Yeah, that would be really closing the loop at that point.
Exactly. And I mean, they didn't even create a loop where you could do a survey and say, hey, this happened to me. This doesn't seem right. I mean, maybe the agent would do that, but it doesn't sound like, the fact that this exists says they didn't.
It looks like collecting feedback, breaking silos, and getting the information to circulate within the company could be a great place to start to fix agents giving wrong answers in the same time as having an app with a few obvious gaps.
I think you're right.
All right, well, then I guess I can feel better about my story now. I think we somehow figured out the starting point. There's probably more to this.
All right, sounds good. Well, congratulations for feeling better. I worry about this card company, but that's not my problem. So we'll hope they figure a way to survive.
Well, definitely they will. Trust me. Thank you very much, Max. Have a beautiful day, and next week I'll be listening to your story.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Julien.
Bye.
Bye.